people that are watching today that might be Palestinian or be on either side of the conflict, whether they're Jewish or Muslim, or you're an observer of this conflict and you're taking sides as well, because you're emotionally connecting with one worldview or the other, and you are caught up in the commotion surrounding these cultures and this family. It's really a family feud that's been going on between Ishmael and Isaac now for 4,000 years, probably the oldest recorded feud that we know of, and certainly the most hostile. And there's been enmity there. And so not only in terms of the way you were raised to be, and thank God for Jesus, otherwise who knows where you would be, Khalida, but you've had that, but also in our panel here, we've had much of that experience as well. I mean, you have that side, but then we have Kamal here. Kamal, how were you raised to believe? What was your viewpoint about the Jewish people and Israel? And how were you raised to believe, and what were you involved in with respect to the Jewish people growing up as part of the PLO and the Muslim Brotherhood, and a terrorist that you are not today, but you certainly were? Tell us what your views were. Well,
thank you for allowing me to speak on this. My circumstances were very unique because they are, the home that I grew in. My grandfather fell out of the Ottoman Empire when the Ottoman Empire was dismantled, and he was from Turkey, and my other side of my family were Lebanese, and so therefore the teacher of my grandfather's house was my mother. And out of 9 children, and so my mother was the teacher, imparting to us what is our hope and our future and what we should do as a Muslim, what is our calling. We were true Muslims, meaning we believed Allah, we loved Islam, and our brand of Islamism was different than any other brand, because we believed if there's nobody like us, they could not survive, or unless they convert to our side of the world. So therefore, my mother teaching was, my son, if you kill a Jew, your hand will light up before the throne of heaven, before the throne of Allah. And the host of heaven will celebrate your victory, your glory. Wow. You will be glorified. Her teaching, my son, this life doesn't belong to you. The life after is what you belong to. Allah has women for you to be wedded in heaven, in paradise, and they are virgin women. They are glorious women, and so God has so many things for you. He has rivers of alcohol, rivers of honey and milk. All of it is yours to have, if you die for the sake of Allah. She was preparing me to die, for her, for the whole family. You see, in Islam, the deep teaching of Islam, if a woman die, if her husband doesn't make it to heaven, nor she will be able to make it to heaven either. So therefore, what happened is, in Islam, when somebody dies in martyrdom, the first drop of his blood will intercede for 70 of his immediate family. They go to paradise without judgment, because his blood interceded for them. Wow. And the second, is for, to inherit paradise, women, food, everything else. Paradise was made for man. So the way I was built and brought up is to change the world for Allah, for His glory, whether they like it or not. So therefore, we were bringing the message of Allah by force, because we understood that Islam did not accelerate by the teaching of the word of the Quran or the Hadith or Sharia or any other surah, but it was by the sword. So therefore, we believe the sword. So therefore, when I was recruited by the Muslim Brotherhood at 7 years old in the mosque in Beirut, what happened, I was being trained and being reconformed to the image that they are. So, and that image is to create the new hegemony, new world order of Islamic order, to be one government under Allah, and that is under Sharia, global Sharia, government, which is establishing Sharia in every nation. Yeah. So we were learning this, and this is where I was being taught to be still jihadi. So, but the Jewish people, on the other hand, they were a sheer enemy because they were the enemy of Allah. We believe that Allah came to them first and they refused Him. So they perverted the faith. And so therefore now they are nothing but monkeys, according to the teaching of the Quran. But then Allah took it to the Christian, and the Christian
I see Ron
perverted
laughing
the
over there at you. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I see Ron laughing at you. I don't know if you can see Ron's face laughing while you're saying that. While you're insulting him.
Well, I'm sorry about the monkeys. About the donkey. So, and then the Christian perverted the faith, and now we have to kill the Christian because Allah turned them into pigs as well. So, that's according to the teaching of the Quran. And so therefore, it was, the only way that they can come, if they don't receive Allah, we must kill them. But then we have somebody else like Muhammad who's sitting on a panel.
Yeah.
They were Shia. The Shia were the enemy of Allah. They brought Ali and they made him Wali Allah. They made him, the principle of God. And I'm going like, what in the world are you doing? You're mixing, things with things. So we were just upset about Hassan Hussein, about Ali, about all this Shiaism and many other flavors. So, and then we looked at the women. The women were nothing but a tool. A woman was a tool given by Allah for our pleasure. She is second citizen. She is not equal to man, and she is just a follower. So therefore, what happened is that we mandate to them how to live their life, whether we're right or wrong. So my life was upside down. Yeah. I was living in a darkness that I really didn't understand what the world out there has, because I was in a tunnel vision that I only saw from our perspective. I was filled with hate, and I knew it is my duty to kill and cleanse the earth from these infidels and apostates.
My. I'm just thinking, is there anybody you weren't supposed to kill, Kamal? I mean,
Well, not Pakistanis.
Yeah, oh, okay. Did you really? Okay. So Jamil, that's good, huh? He loved the Pakistanis, he says. But, it's crazy. I'm thinking of this verse in Genesis 16:12, and it talks about Ishmael. And it says that how Ishmael, he says, he shall be a wild man, and his hand shall be against every man. And it says that he shall be, and it's talking about he shall be like as wild as an untamed donkey. That's what he's going to be like. And he's going to be at war against his brethren and everyone. So he's always going to be fighting and war. And here you are depicting a section of Islam. Obviously, not all Muslims like that. I myself was born and raised as a devout Sunni Muslim, and I wasn't killing anybody by the grace of God. But thank God for that. But I just want you to know, not all Muslims, believe like Kamal believed, and not all Muslims were of that mindset and ideology. But certainly some are. And Kamal certainly was. He's no longer like that. Obviously, you've heard his story, how Jesus changed his life. But that's the reality of where he came from. But I noticed, Kamal, as you were speaking, Muhammad kept nodding his head. He was just nodding his head every time he talked about jihad and martyrdom. And so Muhammad, am I hearing you right here that you agreed, even though he's a Sunni Muslim, when it came to Israel, did you have similar beliefs, or what was your thought process back then?